Located on the edges of the Columbia Valley AVA, just a short drive from Lake Chelan, is Washington State's newest growing region, the Rocky Reach AVA. But don't get Rocky Reach confused with the nearby Lake Chelan AVA. It's more like Chelan's cooler younger cousin who shows up to family reunions with a wild story and a bottle of something extraordinary.
Rocky Reach is the new home of the Rocky Pond Estate Winery. So we spoke with their president, John Ware, to understand what makes this AVA so unique. John shared details of the winery's origins, the distinctive vineyards, and the tantalizing future of their operation. Spoiler alert, it's looking exceptionally bright.
I'm John Ware. I'm the general manager and president for Rocky Pond Estate Winery. So my first harvest was in 1986 working with Cedar Creek. Kind of went through the .com craziness of all that. Went on board full-time with Cedar in 2000 through 2019. And a friend of mine who was consulting with the Dufenhorst on Rocky Pond introduced me to this project. So I came on board about February of 2020. So the Dufenhorst were inspired by a trip through Europe. David is pretty much a dirt guy, had a very successful career in real estate development. I wanted to create a project that was a legacy for his children. And so Rocky Pond started in 2013. As he was developing the vineyards, his first project to buy was what became known as Clos Cheval Vineyard, which is up in the Chelan AVA. That primarily is our sparklings, whites, and our Clos Cheval Syrah. As he was developing this winery and acquired more land here in Orondo, Double D, named after David Dufenhorst, was developed. And that's become our flagship property that does primarily our Bordeaux and our Rhone Reds. And then later on in the facility you're here today, this is the Rocky Reach Estate Vineyard, which is where our production facility, where Liz works. This vineyard was the last of the vineyards to be created. As the Dufenhorst and myself have traveled around the world, we wanted to create an experience in the vineyards that was focused on not just wine and the vineyards being tied to the land, but also things to do that made it very rewarding kind of vacation spot. So here we're located on the beauty of the Columbia River, which has some of the finest watercraft opportunities. We're nearby to the Chelan, Lake Chelan, which is the third largest glacier lake in the country. We've got 30 wineries to the north of us. We've got over 100 acres of vineyard land, and we're continuing to focus on our culinary experience, initially in our tasting rooms and now here at the estate, which will be a farm-to-table experience, which is matching fine wines with fine food as well. But as that experience has kind of grown, one of the things that David and Michelle focused on is creating this hospitality experience. So starting about 5 years ago and culminating very slowly, we launched the Milestone Event Center last October of 2023. As is the 8,000 square foot facility, beautiful, with a commercial kitchen that allows us to have memorable experiences in the weddings, as indoor and outdoor, as well as the ability to enjoy corporate events. That was kind of the first phase of it. The next phase we're looking to do is a real estate play with 40 homes that will be surrounding the vineyards of the Double D Vineyard. So we're working with a company called Picasso, which will be a fractional ownership model where people essentially have a duplex, a 3-bedroom or a 4-bedroom home where you can actually acquire 1/8 interest and use it as your second home. After that, we're going to continue to develop into a 60-room boutique hotel with a 5-treatment room spa, featuring Chef Doug with our farm-to-table restaurant and bar, and allowing people to enjoy the beauty that's surrounding this Double D vineyard.
Rocky Pond has a solid history of producing excellent wines. But just as a great band needs to keep things fresh, they brought in their newest rockstar winemaker, Elizabeth Keyes. Over a glass of their finest, Elizabeth spilled the beans on her background, their current portfolio, and some wild, wonderful new directions for Rocky Pond. Trust us, it's going to be one heck of a ride.
Hi, I'm Liz Keezer. I'm the winemaker for Rocky Pond Estate Winery. And I am now in my 12th year of winemaking and have spent the past 12 years working in a number of wine growing regions. I cut my teeth in the wine industry first in New York Finger Lakes growing region, where I also did my enology degree and worked for Cornell's extension office, the Finger Lakes grape program. My love of both viticulture and winemaking has led me down a path of working in Oregon, Australia, and most recently prior to Rocky Pond for Hall Family Wines in Napa Valley. And that would be where I met my good friend and mentor, Steve Levesque, who brought me on board in 2022 with Rocky Pond. And at the time, the Dufenhorst, who have been a pioneer of the Rocky Reach AVA, their ownership, they started us down a path of really being part of the classic Washington story, about half of our portfolio dedicated to Bordeaux varietals and the other half Rhone varietals. And I came on board at a time when we were producing around 20 wines and have been working with the team here to help taper the portfolio and really bring a sense of creativity and telling a new world story with our half Bordeaux, half Rhone varietal portfolio. We have our 2022 Stratostone White. This is going to be a barrel fermented blend of Viognier, Marsanne, Roussanne, and just a touch of Semillon. The 2022 vintage was a little crazy, so we had to do some creative co-fermentations. I really love this wine for its purity and its focus. You get just a little bit of the barrel influence from the texture, but really just clean lines of acidity and really gorgeous aromatics. We also have our 2022 Stratostone Red. And I should mention, Stratostone is kind of our calling card to the Rhone Valley. So the wines that are produced from Rhone varietals typically bear the name Stratostone. And in 2022, it's a classic blend of about 34% Grenache, 33% Mourvedre, 33% Syrah. And there's a couple really cool things happening in this wine. You get a little bit of full cluster influence, giving a really awesome kind of herbal tar character, but then really bright soaring fruit from the Syrah and the Mourvedre components, and aged in puncheon. So there's really great texture with just a little hint of oak influence. And last but not least is our 2021 11 Dams. 11 Dams is a moniker that we give our wines that are Bordeaux blends. And this is going to be a really fun and playful, juicy blend of about 51% Malbec, 49% Cabernet, and aged in about 35% New French oak. We're such a young EVA that it feels like the opportunities here for growth are pretty endless. And because we are one of one at the moment, the opportunity to be really creative and put our own fingerprint on the style of winemaking is really awesome. And as a winemaker, to be able to step in and kind of pick up where Rocky Pond left off with previous winemaker has been really exciting challenge. And it just feels like the sky's the limit, especially working with such pioneering visionaries like the Dufenhorst and the industry expertise of John Ware. It was not my intention to move to Washington and create an all-female winemaking team, but the best people for the job are my rock star team of female collaborators. We have Jill Lucas, our assistant winemaker, and Chloe Bigger, our cellar lead. Girls rule!
If you've enjoyed learning about Rocky Pond's incredible wines and new facilities, please consider liking and subscribing to this channel. And if you do find yourself visiting Rocky Pond, please tell them Decanted sent you.